Hi guys, it's Heather from Dawn Emporium and I'm back for part 2 of Hanukkah. This one's the big one, customs and rituals. In it for the long haul. I'm going to move that down a bit. Yes, I've still got thermals on. I have like 4 pairs of the blue ones. The black ones are too tight, but they're women's, so yeah, make it comfy. So Hanukkah is primarily celebrated at home and is a celebration of the family, freedom and light. It begins on the 25th day of Kislev, which is usually in late November or December. Apparently it's usually December, but can fall in November. It lasts for 8 days, the amount of time the oil supply lasted in the Menorah in the temple in Jerusalem. After it had been retaken by the Maccabees, sorry, I ran out of breath there. By the way, when I keep saying like temple and high priest, things like that, I'm actually taking most of this from Jewish websites. So if people think that I'm getting my religions confused, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm guessing that a temple is like a cathedral and a synagogue is like a church, but I'm not sure. But most people, when they think of temples, they go, heathen, heathen. But no, a temple just means a holy place building. You know, a temple can literally be your home if you worship there. So I'm just saying, for people who are confused, it appears that the one in Jerusalem that the Maccabees retook is known as a temple as opposed to a synagogue. Just for clarification. If there are any Jewish people watching, if you want to clarify, please do. So, yeah, in the Talmud, the rabbis taught that the mitzvah of Hanukkah, or the commandment that is the underlying message at the heart of the holiday, is a candle for each man and his household. Now, some people read this as only the man who is the head of the household lights the menorah, some that all males light the same menorah in turn, others that each male gets their own menorah, and others still that man means human, so each member of the family has their own menorah, male or female, or other, I'm hoping. So basically, the mitzvah or commandment is to light candles or lights. There are now electric menorahs, which is pretty cool, at home, surrounded by family and friends. I'm good with that. Blessings are recited whilst lighting the candles of the menorah, also called a Hanukkah. I think I've killed that, to say the truth. Many families use Hanukkah as an excuse to gather together, catch up, spend quality time together, much like Christmas and Easter for Christians, or Eids, plural, for Muslims. Most people that aren't Muslim think there's literally only one Eid, and there's at least 3 that I know of. So, again, pointing things out. Another mitzvah is, I'm going to kill it, Persum Haynes. I make that sound like a name. I'm sorry. The public proclamation of the miracles that transpired upon the Maccabees and the menorah in the temple. Hanukkah lights are lit at sundown, and where possible and safe, the menorah is placed in a window so that passers-by can see them, and if not in a window, somewhere where it can be seen from the window. In Israel, this tradition is especially prevalent. Cities and towns hold public menorah lighting ceremonies, and the country apparently comes to life with glittering candles in celebration. Now, I grew up in Leicester, and there I'm just used to Diwali, so I'm used to candles and lights and things for Diwali. So I imagine it would look quite magical because I'm used to Diwali. These days, if you go to places like the Golden Mile, it is electric lights everywhere. But when I was a little girl, people would have candles or single lights in the windows, and slowly over time it became more electrified, and people would hang like Christmas lights, not like the snowflakes or the icicles, but you know, like the ones that you put on the trees, the simple lights, that hang those from the windows. So it'd be like that, only with the candles instead. So I imagine it'd be quite pretty and twinkly. Okay, the ritual objects for Hanukkah are, of course, the menorah and the dreidel. Dreidel? I make it sound like a Klingon weapon, I'm sorry. The menorah literally just means candelabrum in Hebrew, which is the proper name for a candlestick made to hold more than one candle. It has 9 branches, one for each night of Hanukkah and one for the shamash, the candle used to light the other candles. In ancient times, oil was used in menorahs, but over time, oil was replaced by candles. A dreidel comes from the German word for spinning top. It used to be a German gambling game, but over time got adapted to the toy now widely associated with Hanukkah. Historically, Hanukkah was one of the few times a year rabbis permitted games of chance, which is where the link between a German gambling game and Hanukkah began, which is kind of cool. A dreidel has 4 sides, not 3 as the name suggests. I tried to find out what del would mean from German to English, and apparently there's no comparison. I knew that dry meant 3, so that's why I was looking, just to see if it meant 3 sides, or like 3 triangles, or 3 spins, 3 turns, 3 losers, something like that. No, can't find anything. But yes, the 4 sides of the top bear 4 Hebrew letters. None, take nothing. It's fairly obvious, that one really. Gimel, take everything. Hai, take half. And Shin, put 1 in. Players begin by putting into a kitty a certain number of coins, foil wrapped chocolate discs similar to chocolate coins known as gelt, nuts, buttons, or other small objects. Each player takes a turn at spinning the dreidel, which in turn gives them their action: nothing, win everything, take half, put 1 in. Sorry, I got really confused with my own words there. Over time, the letters on the dreidel were reinterpreted for each word in the statement, I'm going to kill it, Nice Gadol Hayasham, meaning a great miracle happened there, which refers to the defeat of the Syrian army and the rededication of the temple. In Israel, Shin has been replaced on the dreidel to change the meaning to a great miracle happened here. And I thought I'd written down what it'd been changed to. I think it's Pol or something like that, but I've not written it down. As with many festivities around the world, music and singing are a great part of the customs. There are many traditional and contemporary songs for Hanukkah, and videos are freely available online. Some that my research mentioned included, I'm going to kill this, Maoz Tazer, yeah, I'm killing it, aka Rock of Ages, I can say that one, which is customarily sung after the lighting of the menorah each night, and was composed in Europe in the 12th or 13th century. Other more modern songs include the Latke song by Debbie Friedman, a Jewish singer and songwriter, and I Have a Little Dreidel. apparently there's one by Adam Sandler as well that's quite popular. It's obviously not like one that you sing after you've lit your menorah, but it's a fun one to sing. Just it kind of got cult status out of nowhere, a bit like Ebony and Ivory. We used to sing that literally religiously at school, in my primary school, and it's a pop song. As with any celebratory festival, there is food. With Hanukkah, the foods are cooked in oil, preferably olive oil, as that is what the menorah, where did that tea come from, in the temple at Jerusalem ran on, for 8 days on a 1-day supply. The biggies are, these are the biggies that you're about to hear about, the top 2 biggies that you seem to always hear about. There are others, but these are the 2. And a quick description from looking at a few recipes. Latkes are like hash browns, but apparently have a crispier exterior and a creamier interior than hash browns, which tend to be a bit dry and chewy. And are made with potatoes and onions. The recipe I found uses egg and matzo meal or breadcrumbs and a few other bits and pieces, and is served with either applesauce or sour cream, which sounds nice, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to kill it. Sufganiyot is literally Israeli donuts. They were more square than normal round donuts, like jam donuts that you get. But I'm not going to complain about the shape. They look absolutely yummy. And no, the recipe's too long for me to sit there and tell you the ins and outs of the donuts. Sorry. In the synagogue, there are Hanukkah rituals, the same as there are for most festivals, for most religions. When it comes to Judaism and Hanukkah, there are inclusions to services. These extra bits include, now I don't understand this bit, Al Hanasim for the miracles, passage in Amidah, central prayer in worship recited while standing, and in Birkat HaMazon. That makes no sense to me. I know it's going on about prayers and things like that, but the way that it's written, it didn't actually make sense to me. They're obviously saying, right, to me, because it's saying Al Hanazim passage with Amidah and in Birkat HaMizon, right? So Al Hanizim means for the miracles passage, right? So you read the for the miracles passage in Amidah, the central prayer in worship, right? So central prayer in worship, but if it's in it, how is that a place? If it's a central prayer in worship, but you're reciting it while standing, which means that it must be a place because you're reciting something while standing in it, but it doesn't make it sound like a place. It makes it sound like a thought process, or no, I don't get it. And in Birkat HaMazon, which again makes it sound like yet another place. So you're in a place, standing up, praying a certain prayer. No, I couldn't get my head around it, so I just recited it word for word. I'm sorry, certain things I can't simplify. In some congregations, everyone brings their own menorah to the synagogue on the Shabbat, and they all light them together as a community. There are also certain passages that are read from the Torah over Hanukkah, as in these passages are to be read at other times, but during Hanukkah they are specifically read. You can easily find them out by following the link that I'm going to post in the comments, that lead to reformjudaism.org. because I doubt many of the people that are watching this are actually going to have a torah lying around. Just saying. Now, as you might have guessed from the above, I used a progressive site as a guide, Reform Judaism. It's always a hint when it says reform. So when I get onto the next bit, any old schoolers may find issue with what I'm about to say. But you know what? The whole point of living is to grow, to change, to learn, to educate. It isn't to stay the same. If you stay the same, you're a problem. In many cases, you are the problem, right? So, I'm reading what I was told, and if people disagree with it, it's not my view. I'm going by a website that I chose, one of several, and all will be posted in all of the links for all of the videos. Right? So now we're on to setting up for Hanukkah. Obviously, you need a menorah. However, because of the risk of fire they cause, you can actually get electric ones, as I mentioned before. Also handy if you all have your own and your toddler needs one. Then you decide how to celebrate the holiday as a family. You can do activities, cooking, or by bringing social injustice into the holiday. This is the thing that I think some old schoolers might have a problem with. Many families exchange gifts over Hanukkah, and some families give charitable donations. The sixth evening is apparently known by many, all, as Ner Shel Tzedakah, or Candle of Righteousness. So some families use this day as an opportunity to learn about social injustices, poverty, make donations, and engage in activities related to you and your family. You can find guides online if you're not sure what to do on the social justice front that offer suggestions that emphasise Tikkun Olam, which I tried to look up yet again, and there's no English version of. Google Translate completely melted on me. So if anybody knows what Tikkun Olam means in English, that would be much appreciated, because I'm just nosy. Lastly, we have the order in which you light the menorah. So, as you face your menorah, you should have all the candles in a straight line apart from the shamash, which is usually either raised or lowered to the other eight. Then you, as you are looking at it, you light the one on the furthest, hang on, right. So for me here, I'd be lighting over there. For you, it would probably be that side. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'd be lighting here. And then as the days progress, I'd like going in that direction. Now, when you light the first candle, you then put the shamash candle in its holder. You do not blow out your shamash candle, your attendant candle, because if this candle gets blown out for any reason, the attendant candle is what you use to relight it. Even when you've got all 8 ceremonial candles lit, you need your shamash candle to go along and light them, because the ceremonial candles are ceremonial candles. You're not even supposed to use them to read. They are there purely for their light, nothing else. Now that sounds weird, because if they're there for their light, then you can read from them. No, you can't use them to read by. You can't use them to light anything else by. You can't use them for anything. Toasting marshmallows, nothing. Right, they are there purely as an offering, basically. So once they are lit, they're holy, you leave them alone. The only candle that you can use to do anything with is the shamash. You'll get that shamash and you can use it to light any candles that go out before they burn out. Now, each candle should burn for a minimum of 30 minutes, except for on the Shabbat, in which case it should burn for 90 minutes or an hour and a half. Hang on. The menorah should apparently be between 12 and 40 inches from the ground. So that's between 30 and 101 centimetres from the ground. Hang on, sorry, I've got an itchy foot. And in view of the street. Now, I did read on one website that if you live above the 3rd floor, which would be, hang on, which would be 2nd floor UK, instead of having them in your windows, what was it you do? You put them by the front door, something like that. Because there's no point in having them in the windows because you can't see them. There's something like that. There's a different rule for them. Yeah. Then you light the candles usually at dusk. I think on the Shabbat it's lit half an hour before dusk. The Saturday it's lit half an hour after dusk. It's usually on dusk, but some people do it later than dusk as a matter of course, and can, if you work nights, be lit as late as half an hour before sunrise, so that the candle goes out before the sun rises, because it should last 30 minutes. But you need to be together as a family to do it. Once the candles are lit, then 2 blessings are chanted or recited every night of Hanukkah. The first blesses the candles themselves. The second gives thanks for the miracles of deliverance. A third blessing, which I'm not even going to attempt to name, I haven't even written it down, because we all know what I'm like with killing words, so I'm just going to destroy it, is used to mark out the joyous occasions in Jewish life, and is recited only on the first night. So it's a happy thing to recite, and I think it's done on every happy occasion, and it's done on the first night of Hanukkah because it's a happy occasion. I've already told you that bit. Yeah, a lot of Jews tend to use beeswax candles for the shamash candle, even if they use non-beeswax candles for the offering candles. I'm not sure why, but every night the candles should burn all the way down. You do not blow them out, you let them burn all the way down. That's what you do. They're offerings, they're not for you to pick and choose. And there you go, so now you know. And I've still got part 3 to do, which is going to be the contentious bit, which is the modernisation and Christmasisation. But that also has the contentious part of history. Yeah. Because this is me. And although I'm enjoying my little nose around, and I found out something quite fun, and I like conflicting views. So, wow, you can see the horns grow, right? Yeah, got the pitchfork hidden somewhere. It's behind my light. All right then. I will see you when you want to watch part 3. Until then, know your power. Bye.